Hello everyone and welcome back to Resonant Rise episode 5. And last episode we set up a very loud tree farm. I'm going to edit out that sound so you luckily probably won't be able to hear it, but that's loud. Anyway, so between episodes what I've done is I've changed the filter on the item duct up here to basically pull out everything now. There is no blacklist. And it's sending all the wood into these barrels here. This one looks less empty than the rest because I've actually been moving it over into the other one. And then the pipe basically goes the same direction, except I've changed this liquid duct. It seems to, sorry, this fluid duct. It seems to work a bit better that way for some reason. I'm not too sure why. And as you can see, we have filled up with biofuel. So we've got a load of biofuel. I eventually changed this to, I think, 30 seconds, or it turns it off for 30 seconds and then turns it on for 6, but it's actually reversed, so it actually... Anyway, so the biggest problem I'm going to have with this currently is this will fill up with more than one stack of each of the saplings. So the problem I've got mainly is, as you can see, I have a lot of Sakura saplings. And so what's going to happen is it's going to end up filling this completely up, and yeah, it'll break it, but I just manually changed it around a bit and I've filled it up so it's like this, and now all the extra saplings are going into here. So hopefully it shouldn't mess up too quickly, if at all. And the other thing is I changed my planters so each one has 2 slots except for Sakura, which only has 1. And the reason is because it creates massive trees and you get a lot of saplings off it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Created a nice weird little wall thing. There's nothing special, there's obviously no roof on it. Eventually I might put some sort of roof on it and possibly build extra levels of different farms or whatnot, but then that's obviously for episodes to come, and I'll decide then what I want to do with it. So anyway, I think that's it, sort of updated from last episode between the episodes. So this episode I want to start on a bit of a smeltery farm, and what I mean by that is I want multiple smelteries, all to smelt individual metals. So to begin with, I just want the basics. So you know, gold, iron, tin, copper, lead, silver, all that stuff. So to begin with, I'm going to need I estimated 8 smelteries, and I'm going to basically put them in like another type of basically square building, another factory, and I'm going to have them lining each of the walls, and hopefully they should automate the smelting of the metals, and then any additional smelteries that I can add, I should hopefully have built the space in, and I can add them to that. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab some of the materials to start my first smeltery, and I will come back when I've got them, and I will show you what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so I've laid out a 3x3 area for the base of the smeltery, and I've placed it right next to my my tree farm, and the factory is probably going to extend off into this direction, so it's going to head off in that direction and then obviously run towards the back this way, same sort of way. But for now I'm obviously only going to build one smeltery. I'll get it automated and I'll show you all the stuff, and then it's just going to be a case of rinse and repeat all the way along for the other smelteries that I make. So the first thing I want to do is obviously build it, and each smeltery to start with is going to be a 2 high. In fact, I need some drains on here, so I've got myself 3 drains and just a normal load of things, and then I'm going to get a tank, a controller, and then finally a couple of pieces of glass in the middle, and some seared bricks either side. There we go. We'll just clear all this up. I'll obviously end up changing the floor when I build the rest of the factory, but like with this one I'll probably do that between episodes. So yeah, here's our first smeltery. Fairly basic. It's going to need a lava source at some point, but for now we will just focus on this. I've actually just realised I forgot the casting basins, so I'm going to have to go grab them, so I will be back in a bit. So I'm going to need some lava for the smeltery itself, and a quick tip if you didn't know, that wasn't what I wanted to place down. If you get your seared tank or seared window glass, what you can actually do is place them down in the world, and you can fill them up with the lava that you need. So that's full. Fill this one up, and then all you need to do to take it back is, hold on, nearly done. I think we're done here. Okay, is basically simply break them, and when you break them, it will say contains 4 buckets of lava. So you don't get a lot in them, but it's enough to transport some over when you need it. So there we go. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna smelt some stuff up, and I will come back. Okay, so to begin with, the first thing you want to do is create yourself some aluminum brass, or aluminum brass if you're American. And for this, you can actually use bauxite ore, which is the real name for aluminium ore. And then you simply place in your casting table some form of ingot. Give it a click, and you will create yourself a whatever this is called, a ingot cast. There we go. And I want to make 3 of them, obviously. So I'm going to create 3 of these and place all 3 of them into back into the casting table, which means, whoops, I've just created 4. That's okay. Take out the ingot, which means now I can create ingots of the stuff that's inside the smeltery. So say this one is going to be my iron smeltery. I'm going to throw in a bunch of iron eventually. I obviously need to get this out. Throw in a bunch of iron, and then I can simply get it out by clicking it into ingots. Obviously the problem with that is I'm going to click it, so I'm going to have to find a way to automate it. With that, it's fairly simple. You can use a redstone signal. So I'm going to grab a timer and some red alloy wire, and I'll come back with that stuff. So I just added a few futuristic armor plating blocks, chisel mod, obviously. Everything that I've pretty much created is using chisel mod. And I've also placed down a chest here and a hopper. Now I'm going to need a hopper for each of the casting tables, so one there and one there. And this way, when you cast something into these, it will automatically pull it out, and then this will send it into here, which will then send it into this chest here. Now obviously the chest is going to be temporary. When I've actually got somewhere to store all this stuff other than my little house over there, I will collect it all up and send it back into a storage area. But for now, I'll keep it in chests. I mean, there's quite a few slots in a chest. So yeah, so basically let's place down the stuff back like this. That's just stuff I removed to get the hoppers in place. And then we are pretty much done with the collection part. Now all we need now is the redstone stuff, like I said before. So simply place a line of redstone on top of the drains. You can obviously use normal redstone if you wanted. I just use this because it looks a bit tidier. And then you can place down a timer. Set the timer to 5 seconds is about the optimal time. And that's pretty much it. Now you can leave that ticking. You could hide this if you wanted to. I don't know, using multi-blocks, or just hide it in a wall and have the wire coming out. Whatever you want, really. And then this will periodically tick every 5 seconds. And it will send a signal down here, which will set off the drains, which will pour out the ore. So I'm going to throw in some iron ore, and I'll wait for this to smelt up, and then I'll show you it working. So I'll come back once this is finished. Okay, there we go. We've melted up the iron. It's turned into 35 ingots, or 32 now, because it's just poured 3 out, as you can see. So these will turn into thingy, and you'll eventually have, weirdly, 4 ingots. There you go, 7 ingots. There's another 4 more. 3 more. So yeah, that's all it's doing. It's creating a pulse every 5 seconds, turning on the smeltery drains, which are creating a ingot each, and then they are traveling down and going into the chest. And there we go, 36 iron ingots. Okay, so the same as last season, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a lava pump in the nether using a endothermic pump and a magmatic dynamo this time, rather than an engine. Pretty much the same thing. And then, simple setup. Set it right next to the lava. Has to be the layer above the lava. And then all this needs is some lava to work. So, got a bucket of it. It should power it up. And there's a ghast about to shoot at me. Sorry about that. This will begin to pump lava into, hopefully, a tank. Now, if this doesn't work, I've got some conduits that might help it work. It builds up straight away. So all we then need is something to pump some lava back into the engine to keep it going. I did actually forget my fluid ducts, so I'm going to go grab them and I will be back. Okay, so I've placed down a fluid duct here. I actually spun this around before, but basically what this should do is feed it into here and then obviously straight back into the dynamo. Now, I'm pretty sure this should still pump into it despite the fact it has this the wrong way around, but I'm going to keep my eye on it just in case it doesn't. But hopefully it does. We'll soon find out. So yeah, so this is basically pumping into here. This is pumping some extra out into the dynamo and keeping it running. So we've got a somewhat renewable lava supply. So I'm basically going to hook up the other ender tank that I created to my smeltery, and then we'll be pretty much done. So I will meet you over there and I will show you that, and then I'll wrap it up. Here at my smeltery, like I said, just going to throw this underneath, give this a spin, and then this should fill up to being full. I think it only updates when you throw something in it though. But anyway, so that's pretty much it for episode 5 of Resonant Rise. Between episodes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like I said, build the additional smelteries. I'm going to build another 7. It's going to be set up pretty much exactly the same with the casting tables on one side, and they're all going to be leading into chests. For next episode, I will be either starting a proper storage system, so a full room with everything stored into either barrels or some sort of chest. So everything can be condensed, so all my stuff going from the tree farm can end up going there, all the items that are smelted up here can all end up over there. Either that, or I will start on working on some power, and any sort of power, because currently I don't actually have any. Apart from the ender pump and the small amount of power that's coming out of here, that's pretty much it. So either one of them I'll start on. Hopefully get it finished during the episode, but before the episode, like I said, I'll complete the smeltery. But thanks for watching episode 5. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you later.